Stephanie here from my prints collection, the place where you will find lettering and illustration tutorials. In this tutorial, we are going to create a scuba diver screen reflection effect using the ocean set. The link will be in the description below, as well as a sample if you want to try it out. If you like this kind of tutorials, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share this video. So without further ado, let's jump into this tutorial. The materials that I'll be using are the iPad Pro 12.9 inches, the Apple Pencil, and the software is called Procreate, which is available in the App Store. Let's open the Procreate app. I'm using a screen size Canva. You can use any size that you want. And the colors that I'm gonna be using are these ones over here, and I'll go through the values as we progress in this tutorial. So first of all, I'm gonna set up my background. I'm gonna add a new layer and I'm gonna pick this color over here. The values are 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 4. So I'm gonna tap, hold and drag the color. And I'm gonna use a brush a default brush from Procreate, which is in the elements. It's called Oceans. And on top of that layer, I'm gonna add a new layer, change its mode to overlay. And I'm gonna use pure black to create the shadows. And I'm gonna slightly with the brush paint on top of the Canva. I'm gonna increase the size a little bit. And let's paint this over here. And now I'm gonna create the highlights. So I'm gonna duplicate this layer. I'm gonna click on clear. And now with the color pure white, I'm gonna repeat the process to make some highlights. So now that I'm happy with the background, I'm gonna select another color. The values for this color are 1, 2, 1, 8, 4, 3. And I'm gonna add a new layer and I'm gonna select a diver from my collection. I'm gonna stamp it, decrease this a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna rotate and we just want the head. So I'm gonna really increase this, like this over here. Okay, and I'm gonna duplicate this a couple of times and merge these layers. Now that I'm happy with my diver, I want to have a screen so that we can create our reflection. So on top of it, I'm gonna add a new layer and I'm gonna select this color over here. The values are 61C9FB. And with the technical pen from the inking set, it's a default brush. Once I select the technical pen, I am going to draw a screen. And then I'm just going to click on wrap and I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. Okay, I'm happy with that. And I'm gonna duplicate this layer, select, wrap, and first of all, I'm gonna select uniform and I'm gonna create an outline so that we have an outline of the screen. I'm gonna click merge down and I'm gonna fill this layer, outline with my color so we have a nice outline. And I'm gonna add a background over here so we can start working on the reflection. So I'm gonna go to my layers, duplicate the outline that we've created. I'm gonna select the color, just white, and then we'll make changes. Tap, hold and drag. And okay, we have our background over here. And I'm just gonna click here on select and erase the outline of my previous layer, so clear. And now we are going to start to create our reflection. So to do so, I'm gonna add a new layer between my outline and my screen background, and I'm gonna change its mode to clipping mask, and I'm gonna select this color over here. The values are 0F2E3C. So using the technical pen, I'm gonna start drawing make sure that I close the gap. Now tap hold and fill it with this color. I'm gonna add a layer underneath. Select this color over here, and I'm gonna keep working on this bottom over here of my background. And I'm gonna add a new layer, so I'm gonna go over here, add a new layer, select this color over here. The values are 2680C1, and I'm gonna keep drawing. Make sure that I close, tap, hold, and drag and fill this color. Now what I'm gonna do is add some stamps. So the first one, with this one over here, let me select the color again. And I'm gonna start stamping to make this with some corals. So I'm gonna add a new layer and clipping mask. And then add a couple of layers over here. So I will stamp in different layers so that I'll be sure that if I don't like the end result, I can change it. So let's go to my Sea Life collection and start stamping. Okay, great. Now that I have this layer over here, I'm gonna add more stamps to this layer over here. So let's go to my layers, which is this one. And I'm gonna add a couple of layers and I'm gonna keep stamping. Okay, now that I'm happy, I'm gonna add more stamps to this layer over here. So now that I'm happy with my background, I'm gonna set up a nice blue background over here. To do that, I'm gonna use these colors over here, and I'm gonna use a airbrush. I'm gonna use the medium brush. And we are gonna start from light to a darker color, light to a darker color. So at the base of all the layers, so underneath this one, which is our background, I'm gonna add a new layer and I'm gonna start painting. I'm gonna select the colors. The first one is 61C9FB and I'm gonna paint. Second one is 48B8ED. Third one is 2D88BA. Fourth one is 2573AB. And the last color is going to be 235894. Over here, actually there's one more color, this one over here, which is 54B0CD. Kind of make a reflection over here at the bottom. And now that I'm happy with this, I'm just gonna duplicate in case I want to make further adjustments. I'm gonna go to my adjustments, gaussian blur, and blur this a little bit to create this ocean effect over here. And now I'm gonna add more stamps. I'm gonna add an effect over here of a scuba diver. To do that, I'm gonna add a new layer on top of all my layers. So let's go over here, add a new layer and select this bluish color over here. The values are 235A94. And I'm gonna select a stamp from my Sea Life collection. Let's add a scuba diver. So let's go with this one. I'm gonna stamp. I'm gonna add another layer and I'm gonna add this stamp over here, which I really like. I'm gonna increase the size a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna make this cool effect over here and adjust my scuba diver. Let's put it over here. And now that we have our background, let's create some reflections. So on top of all the layers over here, let's add a new layer. And I'm actually gonna change to clipping mask all the layers, this one and this one as well. Clipping. and this one with a soft brush from the airbrushing. We are gonna add some glare to some reflections. I'm gonna select pure white, and then I'm gonna increase the size, and I'm gonna add a reflection over here. So this is a little bit too much. So I'm gonna decrease the opacity of the brush to 50%, and I'm gonna slightly paint over here and over here to create that nice reflection, and over here. And I'm gonna decrease probably the opacity a little bit of this layer, and I'm gonna add a little bit of black and just decrease the opacity of the brush to 10. So I'm gonna put it over here. And we are done. We have created a scuba diver screen reflection effect using the ocean set. If you want to check this set, a link will be in the description below, as well as a sample if you want to try the set out. If you think that this tutorial was useful, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you will be notified when a new tutorial is published. If you decide to try this tutorial and share it on social media, make sure to tag me so that I can send you some love. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, happy drills and illustrations!